Hello everybody, TK Gilson here, and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Fern. Yes, I got her. Call me weak if you want, but fucking Christ, I loved the show so much. It was so effing good, and I love SH Figuarts, and there was another SH Figuarts from the show. I had to have it. And I found her for a pretty good price. I found her for $60. A good amount cheaper than retail. And I'll go ahead and answer the question right up front. Do I regret buying her? No, I do not. But there's a lot to talk about with this figure, so let's jump into it and start off by taking a look at the packaging. So here is the packaging again, just like with Frieren's. It looks really nice. You can see nice picture of Fern in the front there with the butterfly in the back. Tamashii Nation's Bandai, Tamashii Nation's seal of approval, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, SH Figuarts, Fern in the SpongeBob letters again. We have Fern, SH Figuarts, Frieren with the butterfly right there, probably because of her hair clip right there. Awesome picture of the figure right there. Fern on the back, a bunch of product shots showing you a bunch of accessories, and if you don't look closely, this just looks like an empty square, like they're advertising nothing, and then you get really on it and you're like, oh, it's the shield accessory, okay. But yeah, they show some product shots and they show you all the alternate faces. This is the best accessory ever. Spoiler alert. On the side you have Fern, SH Figuarts, and you have again the best accessory ever, and on the, I think that is everything, and then on the bottom, bunch of words and things that nobody cares about, and another awesome picture of Fern right there. So before we jump into the review, since we have absolutely no idea whether we're gonna get any more Frieren figures, I am going to go ahead and bring out for Frieren's box right here so you can see how they look together. You can see Fern's box is a little bit thicker than Frieren's. It looks good on this side with the comedic faces on the side there. That's a really nice touch. And then there is the front view right there. Pretty darn nice. And then the other side view, another very nicely looking box right there. And then the back as well, which I don't usually show. But yeah, very cool. Hopefully the line will continue, but we will talk about that at the end of the review. And here is Fern, Frieren's loyal apprentice, and I'll tell you this right off the bat, this figure ain't gonna be winning any awards. It's not gonna be like on anybody's like top 10 of the year list, but if you're a big fan of Frieren, I think you're gonna be happy if you buy this figure, but we will talk about all that at the end of the video. Let's start off by also, actually, before we jump into the sculpt and the paint, I do want to ask you guys, just like with the Frieren review, this is a review of an older SH Figuarts figure, so the review might not perform as well, so I'm gonna ask you guys, please, if you enjoy the video, please go down and give me a like down below. I would really appreciate it. Only if you enjoy the video, though. If you don't enjoy the video, do not leave a like, because that means I failed to entertain you. But with that being said, let's get in on the sculpt. Starting off with the head sculpt, it looks really nice. The purple eyes right there definitely captures her nice blank expression really nicely. The hair. So the hair, I feel like the purple might be a little bit too bright. Like maybe it should have been a bit more of a darker purple, and it probably could have used a little bit more shading. You can see there is some shading in there, but I don't think there's as much in there as there is with Frieren. And yes, the smiling face is the default face, which I think is a little bit interesting, but yeah, it looks pretty darn good overall. Yeah, it's definitely got the vibe of the character, right? And then if we turn her around, you can see she does have her hair clip that she was given by Frieren right there, which is super duper nice. Getting really close on that. Looks super duper nice. They got all the like curls and whatnot, and the butterfly. Really like how that looks. And you can see the longer piece right here, really huge hair piece right there. And again, the shading in there. See, I feel like this is the color all of the hair should have been right there. Maybe Tamashii Nations knows something that we don't know about this character. Maybe this is actually what her hair color is. But in the show, I feel like it looked a little bit darker than this. But still very nice. And you can see moving down to the outfit right here, you can see they've sculpted the front pieces right here to where they kind of rest along her ballistics right there. And you can see, yes, she has a pretty decent shelf right there. Not like absolutely massive, but still, you know, captures the character's likeness very well. And you can see the hair kind of flows down right there. It does kind of come off a little bit right there. And I will say there's one problem with the hairpiece that we're going to talk about when we get to the articulation, but it's really nice how it drapes down along the chest right there. Really liked it. And then you can see the nice piece right there where her hood would be, and we can lift her hair back, and you can see the hood back there as well. Pretty nice. You get these little slits right there for the articulation, but spoiler alert, they don't really do anything. And then we have the nice buttons right here for her dress, the nice collar piece up there as well. Really, really nice. And I like how they've done the wrinkle work on the on the suit right here. You can see even a little bit of texturing work right there to make it look a little bit more like real, like leather, like it's actually a leather thing. I'm not sure if it's actually supposed to be a leather thing in the show, but you can definitely see some texturing right there. Like that looks pretty nice when you get like right up on it. And then the dress as well right here, really nice. And this is all very pliable plastic, so you can peel it back and you can look at the dress right there. And then this is also pliable plastic as well. All this is very, very nice and movable. Unlike with Frieren's, where it was like kind of where like the top piece was nice and pliable, but the bottom piece a little bit pliable, but it was very, very stiff overall. And then finally talking about the boots right here, really, really nicely done. I think this is something they really needed to nail on the character's design right there, and I think they did. I think they nailed the boots on both Fern and Frieren. I think they did a really, really good job on them. Really, really, really nice. Yeah, it's a pretty plain outfit right there, but that's Fern's outfit, man. This is what she wore like 90% of the show. She wore a few other outfits here and there, but 90% of the time she was on screen, she had this. It would have been cool if they could have, if you were able to take off the jacket and then replace the arms with some arms where it's just the dress right there, because then you could recreate her look when she's fighting against the demon guy. What was his name? Draught, I think, the guy, or the guillotine's like henchman or right-hand man or whatever. That would have been a really cool accessory to include, and she does come with a pretty decent amount of accessories, but I do think maybe they could have squeezed that in right there to make up for a few of the figure's shortcomings. And with that being said, let's jump into the articulation right here. So the head is interesting. So the head is on a ball joint at the base of the neck right there. You can see it's on a ball joint at the base of the neck right there. And there is a ball joint right here, and the hair can be moved back, so you can get some good upward movement right there. But you can see the fringe kind of wanted to come off here. The fringe is not very well thought out, because whenever you rotate her head, the fringe kind of starts to like come off a little bit right there. You can see if you just move her head right there, the fringe comes right off right there. Move the head and you don't like touch the fringe at all, the fringe will actually work its way right off right there. Like, it's really annoying. Like, it moves this way and this piece pushes it off right there, and even the face will also fall off. It is annoying, but it's not too much of a problem to just grab the head right here, hold the fringe on, and then rotate the head right there. It is a little tight, by the way, as well. You can kind of hear a little bit of squeaking right there, a little bit of creaking right there. Probably just needs to be broken in right there. But yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of getting annoyed by that when I was posing her around. The hair always kind of wanted to slip off right there. Probably just could have used an extra tab or something to help it keep secure. And then, oh boy, let's get to the rest of the articulation. So the arms can go up about that much right there. Obviously, if you wanted to, you can rotate them around, but there's no rotation segment right here, so you can't even really get that much more. And you also can't rotate it around right there. So yeah, that's pretty much all the arm movement you get. And then the elbow is probably the only good joint on the figure. It gets a little bit over 90 degree right there, and good's a strong word for this. It's not bad, it's a little less than double jointed, but still pretty acceptable. And then we have some basic ball joints at the hands right here, which are pretty nice. They feel nice and durable, and they get the job done very, very well. But you can see this one on mine is kind of wanted to split right there. I'm definitely going to need to keep an eye on it right there. But yeah, very, very nice. And yeah, I think those are just basic hand pegs, like 7 out of 10 probably. And they have a ball joint going into the hand, so you get up and down, so you can rotate it, get up and down, and they have the hinge for the up and down and rotate it for side to side right there. Now, the torso movement. She has basically none. Like, even if you take this, look, and bring it up right here, I think maybe they might have gotten, there's a joint in there. I can't even tell, honestly. I don't think there's any articulation in the torso right there. Like, there's just nothing there. Now, the legs are totally, like, there's a fully functional pair of legs down here. You can go forward right there, back. You have a little bit over 90 degree bends right there, and then you have up and down at the feet, ankle pivot, and toe joint right there. So in theory, the legs have plenty of articulation, but you guessed it, traffic cone. That gets rid of everything. This is a little bit more, pliable than, your usual, Frieren or even Nobara. This is a little bit more pliable, so you can move the legs out a little bit more than some other characters, but still, it's still very hindered. And even if you do want to count the leg articulation as kind of a win, you do get a little bit right there, and in all honesty, when I took this figure out yesterday and started posing it around, I was actually like, I thought I was gonna hate it because I thought the articulation was gonna keep you from doing any of the poses that you wanted to do. Now, as I was posing around, I realized this articulation is perfect for Fern because this is like all the articulation that you need for this figure, for this character. Like, she does not do super action poses. She fights a lot, but she just stands there and spams spells and defends and all that. She just stands there, just like this. She just stands there. She doesn't need to be doing she doesn't need to have like super duper stretched out legs or anything. And this amount of posability for the arms for Fern is honestly fine. The head articulation maybe could have been a little bit better, but honestly, for the character this is, the articulation's actually serviceable. Like, I can't recall a single moment in the show where she crunched forward, like, at all. She's always standing straight up, perfectly straight up. So for any other character, this articulation would be like F tier, but for Fern, it's fine. It honestly is fine. It gets the job done. You've got some decent movement in the elbows right there, so you can get some good poses with the staff. You've got you've got decent head posability right there, and if you need leg posability, you have a little bit right there. I mean, all you really don't have is ab crunch, and I really just don't think you need it for this character, honestly. Obviously, it'd still be nice to have, I guess, but you don't really need it. I do want to say this, though. It seems like on this side, the hair sticks out a little bit more than on this side. You can see there's a little bit more space between the hair and the face on this side compared to this. Like, you can see a little bit of your ear peeking through right there. I wish that would just sit like that. Normally, see, that looks a lot better, but you bring it out, and it kind of wants to pop off, and you can see a little gap right there. Not a huge deal, but would have been nice, and there might be something you can do about it, but I'm not sure. But it still looks really, really, really good. Now, before we move on, I do need to talk about actually my biggest complaint with this figure. The thing I dislike the most about this figure. This foot. Not this one. This one's fine. But on my copy, this foot sucks because it's stuck like this. I don't know if like the leg is back. No, it's not. Is this like a swivel? No, it's not. This, on my copy, this foot is stuck like that. This one is fine. It lays perfectly flat. This one, though, it collides with the leg right there, and I can't get it straight. It won't go straight, so it's such a pain in the butt to get her to stand up. On my copy, you can see here, it's such a pain in the ass. Like, what the hell? Anybody who has this figure, please let me know if this is the same on your figure. You can see the rim of the shoe right there, the tongue of the shoe right there collides with that piece right there, and it won't go up. It just can't. See, the toe joint is being active right now. It's like angled down more than this one. This one sits fine. Okay, I just rotated the joint around like that. The joint in there, I just rotated that around. No difference. Foot still leans down a little bit. I might be able to fix this if I can pop the foot out of this peg right here. All right, I popped the foot out. I'm just gonna shave a little bit of this plastic off of the roof of the foot right there. Just gonna take an X-Acto knife and just take a couple of shaves off of this right here. Just want to say, always be careful when you're using sharp objects and when you're modifying your figures, of course. All right, I shaved that down. And I definitely think it's a little bit better. I might do a little bit more, but this is definitely better. You can see this is definitely better. And you can see the modification isn't really noticeable, although if I wanted to, I could just take some black paint or even just a Sharpie and just color that in real quick, and we would be good to go here. But I'm probably going to take off a little bit more right there after I finish the review, just to make that go fully flat right there. So once I get that fixed, then that issue will be done. Oh yeah, she's standing a lot better now. There we go. All right, let's jump into the comparisons. And of course, the only comparison that really matters, here she is with her master right there. Mistress Frieren and Fern together. They look fantastic together, man. This scale looks absolutely perfect. Once they really got into the meat of the story, after the events of Heiter and Fern, once you really start to get into it, I think once they meet Stark, she's 15, and this is exactly her height compared to Frieren. This is her height compared to Frieren for the majority of season 1. So yeah, there you have them together, student and master. They look really, really, really nice together. The scale is absolutely perfect between them, and they just look absolutely fantastic on the shelf. Now, with that being said, let's now compare Fern with some other SH Figuarts lines. Starting off with some females, here she is with Sakura Haruno and Nobara Kugisaki, and I actually think she scales pretty darn well with these other female characters. She's 15 years old, Nobara is 16, so slightly taller, and you can see the shoes properly scaled, definitely. The limbs, like the size of the limbs right here, the hands, size of the hands right there. Obviously, Gege Akutami drew the hands really big. So yeah, I think the size is about right between the two characters. So yeah, I think her height, her size is accurate to the scale of other, female Shonen Jump characters, other SH Figuarts lines, which means Frieren is also in scale. And looking at this, yeah, that looks right. Frieren was pretty darn short in the anime, and Fern is perfectly in scale with Frieren. So the scale is right here. She's just tiny. So yeah, Tamashii Nation's got that part right. Now to compare with some boys, here she is with Sasuke and Denji, and I think this also looks pretty good. Obviously, male figures are always going to be a little bit taller and a little bit thicker, a little bit more filled out than female figures, and yeah, I think this still looks right. Like, if we got a Stark, it would probably be about the size of Sasuke, maybe ever so slightly shorter, but Stark was definitely a little bit taller than Fern in the show, so I think this is right as well. I think they got the scale right on these Frieren figures. Right as in they fit right in with the rest of the SH Figuarts universe. And we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video. But now just for a few more random comparisons. Here she is with the SH Figuarts High School Gojo, which just isn't in scale with anything. And Aoshi Shinomori, which, he's gigantic, so. And finally, here she is with Yusuke Urameshi and Tanjiro. Last but not least, here she is with the amazing Yamaguchi, Satellite Shooting Star, Yusei Fudo, the Figma Kento Nanami, and the JoJo Super Action statue, Jono Giovanna. Alrighty, and now it's time for my favorite part of the review, the accessories. And just like with Frieren, this is where this figure really starts to come together. Like, the figure by itself, it's a little bit lackluster. But once you bring in the accessories and you start messing around with her and posing her around, you'll realize that the figure is actually pretty cool. So starting off with the alternate faces, of course, you have the standard smiling face in the packaging right there. And then we have her stern, default, blank stare face right here. Now, this is really good, and I'm glad we got it because I think this is a really nice face to get with Fern. And this is the face I think she should have on by default. But I will say, I feel like the eyes might be a little too far apart on this face right here. Like, I think the eyes are perfect on the smiling face right here. This one, they might just be a little far apart. Now, to switch the faces, all you need to do is just pop off the fringe, as I've showed in the video already. It's super duper easy. You just pop off the fringe, then pop on whichever face you want. All the other faces stay on a lot better than the default one right there. But then you have that one. See, it looks like the eyes are just a little too far apart right there. I wish they were closer to how they look on this face right here, but still a good expression to get, and I still think it looks pretty good. But then the other two faces are something special. She has kind of her sad, disappointing, or it's more of it reminds me of when Frieren is being a goofball and she's just like, oh dear. Like, that's what it reminds me of her, so small. If you know, you know. Really cute face, though. I do like this one quite a bit, but it's still not my favorite. That award goes to, and honestly, this is probably my favorite accessory that SH Figuarts has made this year. The pouting face. This is one of those accessories that you see it and you're like, this alone makes you want to own the figure. And I know that that's true because that's how I was. This face was like the biggest thing that was like making me like, I want this. I actually want this, is for this face right here. And let me tell you, man, when you get it in person, it does not disappoint whatsoever. This face is freaking amazing. Yeah, literally worth every penny just for this face right here, man. I absolutely love it. I cannot stress enough. This is one of my favorite accessories that SHF has put in a figure this year, if not my absolute favorite. It's just perfect. Now for the alternate hands, of course, you have fists on in the packaging. And we got a pair of relaxed hands, always very much appreciated. This face is how I feel right now because she won't stand up. It's a lot of heavy plastic. Anyway, for her alternate hands, you get a pair of relaxed hands right here, which is always very nice. And then we get a pair of splayed out hand, again, always very much appreciated. And yeah, I think these are a very good pair of hands to get with her. And then we have a pointing hand for this side over here. A nice accessory. I appreciate it. Gives you some more, gives you a little bit more range of expressionability with the figure. I don't know if that's a word, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. And last but not least, you get the hands for holding her staff right here. So very, very, very nice. And in order to switch out the hands, all you need to do is, of course, it's your standard, obviously. You just pop these off of the ball joints right there. And as I already said, the ball joints feel pretty nice and robust. And just pop on the new ones right there. And we're going to give her the staff hands, of course, because we're about to bring in her staff. And pop that one on right there. Very, very nice and easy. There you have that. And now let's bring in the staff. Definitely the coolest accessory, of course, just like with Frieren. And this is super nice and basically a perfect recreation of her staff from the show. You can see very nice job on the wood and like the texturing right there. You see like the tree details in there. Super duper nice. Nice little metal bands, very, very nicely done as well. And then the little ribbon hanging down there with the red jewel right there. And then the nice purple wrapping for the handle right there. Really, really, really nice. Now, when you want to have her holding her staff, it's a little bit more difficult than Frieren. Of course, Frieren, you just had the hand and you had to thread it through. You just popped it apart. It does not pop apart on this one. This one does not pop apart. Instead, you have these two hands right here. Now, this hand right here, you can have her hold it in this hand if you want to. If you just give it to her in kind of one of the more thicker areas right there. It can latch in there and you can have her holding it in just one hand right there. So yeah, you can have her just holding it in one hand. It's not as good as Frieren, obviously, because it's still open as opposed to Frieren's. That is, you know, just the hole right there, but she can hold it in one hand. Or what you can do is you can take it out, you can put the bottom right here and then bring this one in and have her holding it right here. Bring that hand in right there, and there you go. And she does a really, really good job two-handing it right there. So very, very, very nicely done accessory. I like it quite a bit, actually. I've been having I think she just looks really, really good with it. It's a really nice accessory. Obviously, it's like her signature weapon. And yeah, it looks fantastic with her. And like I said, she does hold it pretty good in this hand. Like you can see, if it's in one of the thinner sections right there, she doesn't hold it too well. But if you get it in one of the thicker ones, she can hold on to it right there. And it's really like this spot right here, I think is like the sweet spot, where she can really hold on to it nice and firm. So yeah, very nice in my opinion. I think they did a great job on the staff. All right, next accessory, on to the final accessories right here. We actually get her bracelet that Stark got her for her birthday. So she's got Frieren's birthday present and she's got Stark's birthday present. Very, very, very cool. And with this, all you do with this is you just pop off her hand on this side right here and then thread that on right there. Just kind of have it like hanging in there. And then just pop the hand back on right there. And I want to say, when you're putting this hand on, don't be afraid to push on these fingers right there, because all that's going to do is tighten the grip for the staff right there. So don't be afraid to push those fingers in. They can take it. That's a nice thick piece of plastic right there. So you can do that, and that'll make it easier for her to hold her staff right there. That's all it's going to do for you. So yeah, very nice accessory right there with the bracelet. It's an interesting way that they went about doing it, but it's nice that you get both Stark's birthday present and Frieren's birthday present. I'm discovering a problem with this figure is that she's kind of hard to stand up. But we have one last accessory to talk about, and it's honestly one of my favorites. You get... Can you stand up, please? Thank you. Last but not least, one of my favorite accessories. So if you remember with Frieren, we got the Zoltruck effect right here. Really, really, really cool. And of course, if you want to, you can use the Zoltruck effect with Fern right here. But with Fern, you also get the shield spell right here. And I actually love this. I will say this up front right here, right now. This is hands down my favorite, like, clear, thin plastic accessory that has ever been in an action figure that I have personally ever gotten. You know what I'm talking about. Like, when they include something that's a thin piece of plastic with a graphic on it or something, this is by far my favorite one, because this one is actually really, really versatile. So, of course, you get the stand, just like with the Zoltruck effect, and you can pop it in right there. You can see there's a nice flat piece right there for you to pop it in right there, just like that. And the reason why I love this so much is because it's so actually, you can use it as like a wall for your characters. Like, you can have a lot of fun with this accessory. It's actually really, really cool. I've been having a total blast with this accessory right here. Again, just like I said in the Frieren review with the Zoltrak effect, usually I would discount stuff like this and just write it off and be like, I wouldn't even count that as an accessory, really. These two effects, though, these are exceptions. They did such a great job with these because just like with the Zoltrak effect, with the shield spell right here, it's a very thick and nice piece of plastic. Like, look how thick that sheet of plastic is right there. Like, it is very, very nicely made. This is a genuine accessory. These are genuine accessories, and I am willing to account these for part of the price of the figure. These are nicely done, especially this one. I love this, man. But like I said, you can use either accessory for either one of the figures. So you can have Fern using Zoltrak right there, which is really, really nice. Again, having a hard time getting her to stand up. There you go. And if you want to, you could give some motion to the hair right here. Use that articulation right there to get a little bit of extra motion right there. And hello and welcome to Standing Up School. And you fail. You can have her casting Zoltrak, which is very, very, very cool. And you can also have Frieren using the shield spell. Or, of course, you can have the shield spell back there and then have her using Zoltrak right there. So she's getting attacked by an enemy on her back right there. They're attacking her right there. She's blocking that one, focusing on the true enemy right here with Zoltrak. Lots of potential right there. Or, hell, bring in both her, have them doing a tag team fight right there. Tons of potential if you get both of the figures with both of these accessories. I honestly really, really, really like these. And like I said, I do got to give the win to the shield accessory. I think the shield accessory is a little bit more fun to use than the Zoltrak accessory, but they're both very, very nice. And really makes it a much more enticing deal to get both of them. And with that being said, let's get in on my final thoughts on the SH Figuarts Fern. I'll be honest, man, I'm actually pretty happy. Like, I was not expecting a lot from this figure, but I'm going to say this. I got this figure. The day I got this figure, I was not having the best day. I got home from work. I was really, really tired, and I honestly just wanted to go to bed. Like, I didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't want to watch anything. I didn't want to eat anything. I just wanted to go to bed. I didn't really have a good day. And I got this figure, and I didn't really feel like opening her. I didn't really feel like reviewing her. But I did want to open her up and mess around with her because I was so high on the show. I had just finished it a few nights ago, and I just decided to open her without reviewing her. I can review her later. I've actually gotten pretty decent at that. I feel like at this point I can just open things up and review them later. I feel like I can still make a pretty solid review. But when I opened her up, she actually brought me a lot of joy, and she actually really brought me back that night. I was actually a lot happier because I was posing her around. And after posing around, I was cool again. I got up, I ate some food, and I had a decent night after that. Like, it really, really brought my mood up. And when a figure can do that, that's really worth commending. Like, that's why the whole reason you buy figures is to have fun, is to enjoy them, is to bring you happiness. That is a hobby. And if the figure is accomplishing in that, then it's doing its job. And for me, this figure very much did its job. I honestly like it quite a bit. Now, I'll say this. As an objectively, the figure is very, very flawed. Like, she has almost no torso articulation. She has a problem with the fringe staying on. The fringe is just always wanting to pop off. And as you saw in this video, she's a little bit hard to stand up. So objectively, as an action figure, obviously, she's not as good as something like Kudge number 9 here, or, take your pick, like almost any other SH Figuarts that Tamashii released this year. But if you're a big fan of Frieren and you love SH Figuarts, then I absolutely can recommend this figure because it's fun. It's fun to have a Fern and a Frieren to go with your SH Figuarts collection. And as I showed in this video, they're in scale. They are in scale with the rest of your SH Figuarts universe. So you think about it here. Tamashii Nations are very much creating this universe of anime action figures. The biggest, by far, the biggest and most impressive lineup of anime action figures, in-scale anime action figures to date. And in that universe, we got a Frieren and a Fern. How cool is that? So, if you love the show, if you love the character, then I absolutely recommend both of these. But if you don't, if you have no interest in the show or you haven't watched it, and yeah, these figures aren't the greatest thing in the world. They don't have the best articulation. Their accessories, they probably could have included more. As a fan of the show and a fan of SH Figuarts, I am happy with these figures. I like them. I will happily give them a spot in my collection, and I'm hoping for more. I hope we get Stark, I hope we get Himmel, and I hope we get stuff like Ubel or Verbal. Because there's definitely more potential for this line. I'm definitely hoping that once Season 2 comes out, we'll get a few more characters. At least a Stark. But I definitely would like some more. Ubel would be really, really, really cool. She would be superposable. But that being said, objectively, as an action figure, I gotta give the Fern like a B+. I think it's slightly worse than Frieren. Honestly, nowhere near as bad as I was expecting it to be. Like, I like the character Lloyd Forger from Spy Family, and I hate that figure. That SH Figuarts, I absolutely hate that thing. I like Fern from Frieren, and I like this figure. I'm happy with this figure. I am satisfied paying $60 for this figure. So should you get it? Like I said, I think $60 or below for this figure, you'll be happy. If you're a fan of the character and the show. If you can find it for $60 or less, then I would recommend it. Now, for full retail price, which is like $75 to $80, that's all up to you, man, whether you want to pay that. I don't think that's worth it, especially since you can pretty easily find this figure for, $60 or below. But if you're watching this in the future or something, and she's like skyrocketed in price, you're gonna have to make that decision for yourself. I wouldn't really say she's worth that $75 retail price. Because, yeah, she really is not the best figure, and there's so many great figures you could get for that price. But again, if you love the show and you love the character and you love SH Figuarts, I can recommend this figure. Which I honestly did not expect to say. So for me, this figure succeeds. And with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like, subscribe for some more anime action figure reviews in the future, and let me know your thoughts on not just the Fern, but the Frieren line in general. Do you think they did a good job with this? Some people think that they phoned these in just to make a quick buck off a new popular anime, that they didn't really have a lot of desire to make good figures here. I gotta disagree for the most part. I do think these could have been better. Don't get me wrong. I do think these could have been better. Maybe if they went with the cloth goods route, they probably could have came out better, but as someone who doesn't really care for cloth goods too much, I personally do see some effort in these figures. Like, I do think they tried on these. I don't think they just phoned these in. But that's a personal preference. But yeah, let me know in the comments. And with that being said, everybody, this is DK Guillotine, signing out. So small.